Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video, and welcome to the Gridiron. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below or maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, Don Wink Martindale will be bringing in, the guys that he chooses pretty much to fill out the rest of the Giants defensive assistants, except for the one defensive back, the defensive backs coach, which they had, Jerome Henderson, which they retained. He was with the Giants obviously last year, the last coaching staff and all that. So Giants retained him, and so he's got to fill out. He's got to get. Then there's going to be assistants to the assistant coaches, so. Lord knows how many coaches is going to want to be on the staff. I know I would judge. He had he was had one of the most, as far as numbers, one of the biggest coaching staffs in the entire NFL. He had 22 or 23 or 24 coaches and assistant coaches and all. And what did it get him? But he's got the defensive backs coach, but he's got to need a defensive line coach, like an outside linebacker, I guess outside linebacker / edge rusher coach, then an inside linebacker coach, then of course I guess all the assistants to go with that. So, but we're trying to possibly, what I've been reading is we might get the trifecta very, very soon as far as defensive line, outside linebacker, and inside linebacker coaches. Might have them in very, very soon. Now, the Jets, okay, they had two Ryans. Right? They had Rex, who was their coach from 2009, 2014. He went to back-to-back AFC championship games, so very, very impressive. I was never able to win the division, obviously, because you got Belichick and Brady there. But he actually went to back AFC championship games. Extremely impressive. The one coach who did that before him with the Jets was like Bill Parcells. And they lost to the Broncos. The only other time I believe the Jets went to a championship game was in 1968, when they beat the Oakland Raiders 27-23 at Chase Stadium. So I think there's maybe only 4 times the Jets have gone to an actual AFC championship. Well, it was the AFL championship game in 1968, so it wasn't AFC. But so the Jets have not been to many championship games. Actually, they're 1-3. They won the first one against the Raiders, and they lost their next 3. But anyway, the Jets had Rex Ryan, who was their coach. The Jets. Then the Jets had Buddy Ryan. He was their defensive line coach from 1968 to 1975. Walt Michaels was the defensive coordinator back then. Walt Michaels also became the Jets coach in the late 70s and early 80s. But Buddy Ryan, first year with the Jets, as far as being a defensive line coach, was in 1968. That's when they won the Super Bowl. There's videos when you look at some videos from Super Bowl III. There's one shot in particular where there's a shot, and I think they're looking at Weeb Hubank, and you'll notice off in the background is a guy turns around. I think he's looking at the camera. Might be even looking at the camera too. Buddy Ryan. It's weird because a young Buddy Ryan. So Buddy Ryan won a Super Bowl with the Jets, Super Bowl III, the only time the Jets ever went to a Super Bowl, and the only time that they won a Super Bowl. Actually, no, I'm wrong. The Jets went to a championship game in 1982, I believe it was. They lost to the Dolphins, so there was another time they went to the championship. They lost 14-0. It was like a mud bowl. I think Richard Todd was the quarterback, I believe. He got picked off. One of his passes got run back for a touchdown. So the Jets have been, since the AFL-NFL merger, I think they've been to 4 championship games, and they've lost them all. But Buddy Ryan, I said, Buddy Ryan was with the Jets from 68 to 75. Buddy Ryan was also with the Bears in 85. He was their defensive coordinator. So Buddy Ryan has got 2 Super Bowl rings, right? The Giants have never had a Ryan. You know, good, bad, whatever. But possibility we might be getting Rob Ryan, Rex's brother, in here. Now, Rob, I believe they're twins. I'm not sure if they're identical twins or not, but I do believe that they're twins. Rob's coaching career started in 1987, so he's been around for quite some time, all right? He started way back in 1987. His coaching career started. He was the assistant coach at Western Kentucky. I mean, if we get him, this I think will be his 10th team in the NFL he's coached on. Right, he's coached for the Cardinals. It says the Cardinals, the Patriots, the Raiders, the Browns, the Cowboys, the Saints, the Bills. He was with the Bills in 2016. He was with the Bills 1 year before Joe Shane showed up there. So, and McDermott and all and everything. So he was there, but so he didn't overlap with Shane at all. But he was with the Bills. He was with the Redskins. He was with the Ravens, and yeah. If he's with the Giants, this will be his 10th NFL team he's been with. Doesn't stay very long with teams. He's usually there for a couple, 2-3 years. I mean, a lot of the teams. I mean, I think he was there for 2 years with the Cowboys, a couple years, 2 years with the Cardinals, 94, 95, or something like that. I mean, so he's not very long with the teams, but I mean, he's bounced around. He's had some success. He also even coached in he got let go. I think he was with the Cardinals from 94 and 95. And then he coached in 1996. Hutchinson. Wow. Hutchinson Community College. Holy fucking crap. Wow. Hutchinson Community College in Kansas. He was their defensive coordinator. But, he impressed. He was very, very good. That's one of the reasons why he was able to come back into the pros a lot. Their defense that year, he was the defensive coordinator. They led the nation in the fewest yards per game. Their defense gave up 200. Now I'm not sure if this is the whole nation, including like the Alabamas and all of that, or if it's Group 2 or Group 3, exactly what it is. But it said he led the nation. Only gave up 228 yards a game on defense. Phenomenal. They also led the nation in sacks with 56. I mean, they're probably playing 10, 11 games. I mean, you get 56 sacks. You're averaging like 5, 6 sacks a game. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive. They also apparently set some type of a national record by forcing 49 turnovers. Holy crap. I mean, if they played like, say, 10 games, that's almost 5 turnovers a game. Or say they played 11, just, right? Or 12. That's 4 turnovers average every game. I mean, oh my God. Wow. So, he had some success there. But last year in 2021, he was the Ravens' inside linebacker coach. So, apparently he might be on his way over. Then they might be bringing over Brian Cox as well. And now, I haven't seen anything yet, but in Wikipedia, somebody typed in that, let's see, today's Thursday. On Tuesday, somebody typed in February 8th that he was hired by the Giants as their defensive line coach. I haven't seen that yet. So, I mean, it might quite possible that might wind up happening, but I mean, I haven't seen it happen exactly yet. But now, it's weird because in his playing career, Brian Cox was a linebacker. Big linebacker, but he was a linebacker. But since 2006, right, he's been a defensive line coach. Now he was with the Jets since from 2006 to 2008. Now what's odd about that is he was there in 2008. He left to go to the Browns to become their defensive line coach for 2 years. So the year he left, in 2009, that's when Rex came in and head coached the Jets. So they never really overlapped. But Cox was with the Browns from 2009 to 2010. He was with the Dolphins in 2011 as their pass rush coach. He was the defensive line coach of the Bucs in 2012 to 2013. And he was the defensive line coach for the Falcons in 2014 to 2016. Now, you remember, in 2016, that's when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl. Lost, had a big lead, should have won, but that's when he went to the Super Bowl. But I was looking, I couldn't find it. Since 2016, or basically after that season was over, so basically in the 2017 season, till now, he hasn't done any coaching. So I'm a little odd. All of a sudden, we just him up out of nowhere. I don't know. It is what it is. So we might be getting Brian Cox in here as the defensive line coach, right? So that leaves we might have Ryan as the inside linebacker coach. Might have Cox as the defensive line coach. Now we might wind up getting Drew Wilkins as the outside linebacker coach. Now, Drew Wilkins, since 2010, has been with the Ravens. Right? As of last year, he was their outside linebacker coach. So Martindale might be bringing him over as well. So that would maybe fill out. Then you'd have Martindale as the defensive coordinator. You have Cox as the defensive line coach. And I'd have Ryan as the inside linebacker coach. You might have Wilkins as the outside linebacker coach. And you might have Henderson as the defensive back coach. And, of course, then you're going to sprinkle in however many assistant coaches that they have. But quite possibly. Right? So, I mean, a lot of this stuff was going on, like, Wednesday. I was reading a lot of this stuff Wednesday. So today's Thursday. They might be signing some stuff. So, those are the only kind of names it's not like with the defensive coordinator. Well, we got Martindale, and they might have Zimmer coming in, and they might be talking to Leslie Frazier, and then they might have No, I mean, I'm just seeing like a couple names. I mean, as I said, for the defensive line, it's Cox. That's what I've been reading. It's not Cox and maybe this guy and maybe this guy. No, and it said Ryan, inside linebacker coach. That's all I saw. I saw Wilkins, the outside linebacker. So I mean, the Ravens, have done very well defensively. So we got Wilkins coming over, we got Ryan coming over, we have Martindale. So not bad. We'll have to see what Cox with the defensive line. I mean, he was a good player, but I mean he's been out of coaching since basically the Super Bowl in 2017. So he didn't go 17, 18, 19, 20, last 5 seasons. So I don't know why we're picking him up now, but it is what it is. So we'll just have to wind up, wait and see. But now Martindale, okay, the defense, he loves to send pressure. All right, he's one thing I did read though, because a lot of times they get pressure, but they don't get a lot of sacks. And I think he said something like sacks are overrated or something along those lines. I read it. I can't remember exactly what it was. They don't seem to get a ton of sacks, and he's not so much worried about getting the sacks and all that. Right? A lot of times they don't get a lot of turnovers either. So I guess he's not worried too much about the turnovers either. I don't know, but he does love sending a lot of pressure. Now, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. Now, some with his blitzes in 2018, he was first in the NFL. All right, the Ravens were first in the NFL. They blitzed 39.6% of the time. So basically, they blitzed almost like 40%. So basically, 2 out of every 5 plays they blitzed. In 2019, once again, they were first in the NFL with blitzing. They blitzed 54.9% of the time, almost 55% of the time they blitzed. Holy cow. 2020, once again, they were first in the NFL in blitzing. They blitzed 44.1% of the time. Last year, 2021, right, they were 6th in the NFL. They only blitzed 31.1% of the time. I think because some of that was He did, send pressure, not as much as he used to, but he didn't maybe send quite as much pressure as he used to because they had a lot of injuries in the secondary. And, you start sending, pressure 55% of the time, that means more than half the game you guys are on, your cornerbacks are one-on-one, they're on their own islands. And when you got like a second-string cornerback in there going up against the number one wide receiver or the number two wide receiver, whatever the case might wind up being, I mean, you're apt to get burnt quite a bit, and that's one of the things that happened last year. They got burnt a lot. They gave up the most 20-yard pass plays of anybody, and also the most 40-plus yard pass plays of anybody in the NFL last year. So they got burnt a lot. So maybe he shouldn't have pressured as much. Maybe he should have dialed it back quite a bit, and maybe, gave everybody cover. Like maybe had two deep safeties covering the two wide, maybe the best two wide receivers. So the second string cornerback that's trying to cover the number one wide receiver winds up getting burnt. You got a safety over top. But I guess he didn't want to doing that quite as much. But anyway, still, he's the sixth most in the NFL they blitzed. So 31.1%. But unfortunately, sometimes that works. But unfortunately, it's not. I was reading. Dak Prescott might be a very happy camper. He does a great job against the blitz. According to this is one thing I wrote. Now I don't follow this. This sports information here from this one article here, but per Sports Info Solutions, I said I don't follow them. Dak, was 103 out of 165 against the blitz, which is 62.4%, which is pretty good. There are other guys that do complete more passes, a better pass completion percentage than 62. So one of them, I think Burrow was almost like 70%. He was torching it. But with Dak, what set him apart is he threw for 23 touchdowns, and his quarterback rating was 113.2. 23 touchdowns when teams blitzed him. It helps obviously when you blitz. They got a nice offensive line, right? You got of course, you got Amari Cooper, you got ABCD Lamb, you got Wilson, you got Michael Gallup out there. You got some top-notch wide receivers. Especially Cooper and ABCD Lamb. Yeah, sure, God bless me, sure, yeah. But so it works sometimes, but you got to be careful about maybe who you're dialing up against. Now, some of the other quarterbacks in the NFC. Now, I'm not going to include Brady because apparently he's retired. So, but according to Pro Football Focus, this is I do follow these guys. I got a subscription with them. Matthew Stafford, when he was being blitzed and the pocket was not clean. He had 15 touchdown passes, 1 interception. Of course, it helps. You gotta look at. He's got Odell Beckham. He's got the Cupmeister running around. So he's got some nice weapons out there. But when he was blitzed and even the pocket, when he had some pressure on him and the pocket wasn't clean, 15 touchdown passes and only 1 interception. Russell Wilson, same thing. When he's blitzed and the pocket's not clean and there's pressure on him and all that and everything, 11 touchdown passes, only 1 interception. Aaron Rodgers, hard to believe, yeah, I know. Same thing. When he's blitzed and the pocket's not clean, there's pressure on him, 13 touchdown passes, 1 interception. Kirk Cousins, he's spotless. 12 touchdown passes, no interceptions. Then you got, even Kyler Murray. 8 touchdown passes, 1 interception. So when they're blitzed and there's not a clean pocket, this is like 5 or so quarterbacks from, and that's not even including Tom Brady, who did pretty well too. So you got Dak and you got like 5 or so other guys. So you can blitz, all right, but it'll work probably against most teams, causing a lot of the pressure and all that and everything. But it's not going to work against every team. And some teams might be licking their chops. They're going to maybe quite possibly want to, you know, lighten you up if you're not careful. So blitzing against some quarterbacks, you know, is okay, but blitzing against some other quarterbacks is not so good. Now, but you know who the worst one was as far as sad, as far as touchdown to interceptions, the worst one was Daniel Jones. When he was blitzed and it wasn't a clean pocket, he had a lot of pressure and it wasn't clean and all that and everything. He has 1 touchdown pass and 4 interceptions. So Daniel Jones, you know, I mean, it's when he can stand there, you know, when he's lobbing it downfield and he's got to drop it in a bucket or maybe a back shoulder. You know, I mean, the one pass with Evan Ingram against the Raiders, you know, he just threw it over the defensive back's head and Evan Ingram went up and got it and all, you know. You know, he needs to lead a guy down, you know, down a nice touch and all that, yeah. But when there's a lot of pressure on him and he's got to make a fast decision, sometimes his decisions are not the best. So it's gonna have to be something we have to watch out for. I mean, you know, hopefully we can get him a nice offensive line this year, and just hope for the best. But I mean, you know, a lot of times it's either you got it or you don't. If you're having a problem picking up pressure and making those quick pass reads and all that and everything, it's tough to, you know, 1 minute you don't have it and then all of a sudden, oh my God, he does. You know, it's, so I mean, he struggled with that for, you know, his career. So I mean, there's a good chance that he might keep struggling with that. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out the video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!